Hello, friends, and welcome into the Cowboys Report. Once again, I am your host, Tom Downey. We're going to kick off today's show, a little preview of Week 3 against the Miami Dolphins, including could we see some more Tony Pollard? Now, the report from the main Cowboys website is that, hey, look for Kellen Moore to use Tony Pollard and Zeke on the field at the same time. Several of you have asked about this before, and the answer still remains the same. At some point, yeah, that's probably going to end up happening. We know that Kellen Moore is creative. We know that Kellen Moore wants to get the ball in the hands of his best people, and that includes getting the ball to Pollard as more than just a backup running back. What I mean by that is just, giving him the ball out of the backfield when Zeke's off the field. My question is, though, does this end up happening in what is let's call it what it is, easy game against the Miami Dolphins? I don't necessarily think you're going to see all of the creativity come out from Kellen Moore. Maybe you see a couple of things they want to lay the groundwork for, but I don't think it's going to be, okay, let's bust out everything in a game that, frankly, Linehan could call the game plan and they'd win by at least 2 scores, I think. Now, speaking of winning the game, are the Cowboys going to beat the Dolphins? If you think the answer is yes, then like this video. I would assume everyone's going to say yes, because if you say no, please call your doctor. Please seek medical attention and help, because clearly you're an insane person and you should not be around others in public. So if the Cowboys are going to beat Miami, that's just going to happen. I will be stunned if they don't. I know we don't want to act like, oh, it's a guaranteed game. We can act like that. The players aren't going to, but we're allowed to. It can't be a trap game if the other team can't score. So I'm not concerned about this matchup. Maybe they cover this, but maybe they don't. Cowboys are going to win this matchup. Now, they will, however, be without some notable players. One of them appears to be Tyrone Crawford, as the short-term injuries continue to pile up here for the Dallas Cowboys. Stephen Jones said today that Crawford is probably going to miss some time. I think at minimum that begins with Week 3 against the Miami Dolphins. He came back from hip surgery, and it hasn't really been right. You saw him come off the field later on in the game against the Redskins. Didn't come back. I think he only played like 18 snaps. That was like half of what he did in Week 1. The opposite of what guys like DeMarcus Lawrence ended up doing. So Crawford's hip injury, it continues to be an issue. Now, what this means is, especially with Antoine Woods also banged up, more on other injuries coming up here in a little bit, but what this means for the Dallas Cowboys, because you're not going to have your inside-outside guy in Crawford, you'll use Kerry Hyder more in that role. With no Antoine Woods, that pretty much guarantees Trysten Hill is going to be active, and against a pretty bad Dolphins offensive line, this is a chance for Trysten Hill to have a big step forward and at least have a chance to make some plays for the Dallas Cowboys. You're watching the Cowboys Report, and we have a special guest for you today on today's show. It is Mick from Kashiyama here. Mick, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Making me look a little bit better today.
Hey, speaking of, needs a little sprucing up for today's broadcast.
Are you
I brought
calling
you
me
this new.
Ugly?
No, just
Okay,
needs
thank you.
a little bit of room for improvements. Good for everybody.
All right, so we're going to take you guys through the rest of the NFC East games, and of course, we're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys as well. So get your predictions for Dolphins at the Cowboys in right now. Text Mick at 214-448-9037. Also, please remember to include the team that's winning. I know you're all going to pick the Cowboys this week, but just, remember who you have winning the game. Now, Mick, I know you're a Titans fan here. I'm not sure why. I can out you. I've already outed producer Alicia as a Skins fan, so it's all okay there in the end. But I'm excited to hear what you have to think about the NFC East matchups. You get bonus points, by the way, each time you pick against an NFC East opponent. We'll begin with the Lions at the Eagles here, Mick. Eagles have some injury problems. What are you expecting, though, from this matchup in Week 3?
Detroit's been really struggling on the road, so I like Philly in this spot. I am going to be going with 28-17 in favor of the Eagles.
The random Eagles fans who watch the show are now feeling very happy right now.
Good.
Maybe the Cowboys fans aren't feeling so good, but I agree with you. It's a home game for Philadelphia. They lost to the Falcons last week, but I think they get back on track this week. Moving on now to our next matchup. That is the New York Giants at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's a new starting quarterback for New York, Daniel Jones. Is he going to lead them to a win or no?
Bucs are coming off a 10-day rest as well, plus this heat in September in Tampa. I would not want to be traveling there, so I am going with the Bucs in this one, 24-10.
All right, I think the Cowboys fans here like that one a little bit more. I'm also on board with you here.
Yeah.
We'll see how Daniel Jones plays. Hopefully he's better than Eli Manning, I guess. Maybe we're not hoping that either way. I like this one here for the Bucs at home. All right, guys, again, you can text Mick as well for your Cowboys score predictions. But let's move on to the final NFC East matchup this week here. That is the Bears Monday Night Football at the Washington Redskins. The Redskins who the Cowboys just beat up on. It's funny to me, I'll make just a quick note here before we get to your prediction. The Bears have the tied for second worst offense in the NFL, and the Redskins have the tied for second worst defense in the NFL. So what are you expecting from this one?
You know, I'm going to have to say this is my stone cold lead pipe upset special of the week. I am going with the Skins on this one, 21-17.
Now, maybe, I know we don't ever want to cheer for the Redskins, everybody, but the Bears are a better team than Washington. Redskins are already 0-2. I actually think Cowboys fans should be cheering for the Redskins this week. Now, as we mentioned, as you saw on your screen there, Kashiyama is located in all of the NFC East cities, New York City, Washington, D.C., plus Boston and Charlotte, and Philadelphia for you 5 Eagles fans who keep watching the show and trying and failing miserably to troll. But, of course, they're also here in Dallas, Mick. So let's talk about the Dolphins and the Cowboys matchup. Big favorites for the Cowboys. I'll preface this. If you pick the Dolphins, I don't think you're going to be allowed back on the show. So with that in mind, what are you expecting?
You know, I think the only question is are they going to cover the 3-touchdown spread? And I think they will. So I am going Cowboys 31-3 in this matchup.
I like that prediction there. Again, guys, get your predictions in the comment section for this one, and text Mick at 214-448-9037. Our phone number is there on screen. We'll get it in the chat for you guys as well. 214-448-9037. I heard your phone going off right there. So
I've already gotten
what are some
5.
of the scores we got flowing in here?
So far we have got, wow, they just keep rolling in. 45-0 for the Cowboys. We've got 35-3. Cowboys, 35-14 Cowboys, 44-13 Cowboys. So getting some pretty consistent, and they are still coming in.
I assume there are no Dolphins picks.
No Dolphins picks,
good.
but we do have somebody who thinks Cowboys are going to come out with 100 points in this one. Little ambitious, but love it.
Fantasy team appreciates that. If you guys get the correct score, by the way, we'll give you $100 towards a suit from Kashiyama. Trust me, these suits are fantastic. It's great for the heat. I got my custom fitted suit here from Mick. She was absolutely fantastic. It was a great experience for me. Mick, how can they schedule a fitting here in Dallas?
Absolutely, here in Dallas. So with that telephone number that you are sending in your pics to, you can call or text that number, 214-448-9037. You can also send me an email, dallas@onwardusa.com, or visit us online at www.kashiyama1927.com.
All right, guys, make sure you get your score prediction in. Text Mick right now. Again, if you get it right, we'll give you $100 towards a suit. Again, her number, 214-448-9037. Let's move along now with the rest of the Cowboys injury report. Obviously, it sounds like Crawford's not going to play. Tavon Austin remains in concussion protocol. We'll see if he's able to go. If he is not, given that Michael Gallup is also out, the Cowboys might feel the need to make a late adjustment, try and bring up an extra receiver, but that they have not done so yet makes me think that they're at least somewhat confident that Austin will be able to go. The other 3 injuries right now for the Cowboys, those who were limited or did not participate this week in practice, Luke Gifford, Antoine Woods, and Xavier Woods all did not go both Wednesday and Thursday. I would venture to say those guys are going to be out. Woods has not been declared out. More on him in a second. Neither has Antoine Woods and Luke Gifford, but I would be a little bit surprised if they were able to give it a go in Week 3, given that the Cowboys might not really need them overall. But on the Xavier Woods note, now, Jason Garrett said he thought, Woods might practice, and that has not happened yet, which I think the Cowboys really trying to push, hey, it's not as bad as we think, or at least what was initially reported of a high ankle sprain of 4 to 6 weeks. But he hasn't practiced so far this week. I don't see him playing this week. We'll see about Week 4 against the Saints. I would probably still bet no, but this does seem like it's not going to be, might not even be a high ankle sprain. Maybe that was erroneously reported at first. Maybe it's just a normal ankle sprain, and it's only going to cost Woods maybe 2 weeks instead of that typical 4 to 6 week time frame. Now, with Xavier Woods out, you will see some Donovan Wilson. But so far in practice, and this could still change, there is still tomorrow, of course, or I should say Friday, of course, Darian Thompson is set to start at free safety. I know you guys want Donovan Wilson. I understand that as well. I want Donovan Wilson out there, but it seems like the Cowboys are going to go with the guy that they have seen play actual NFL games, that was active last week, and frankly, was an earlier draft pick than Donovan Wilson. But with all the injuries starting to pile up, Xavier Woods, Gallup, Crawford, Gifford, Antoine Woods, etc., which injury has you guys the most concerned? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to give some shout-outs here as well once these flow in. I was the most worried about the Xavier Woods injury. It seems like that's not going to be as bad as everyone, or at least what was reportedly initially thought. That's a good sign there. I'll tell you what, I'm actually a little bit worried about Tyrone Crawford because that injury was supposed to get better as the year went on. That has not happened. That has not happened for Tyrone Crawford. I see a lot of Michael Gallups in there. I understand that one too. That's probably a pretty safe bet as well. All right, the Miami Dolphins side of things, their injury report, two guys that, look, they're going to be out there. Three guys are going to be out there. Trent Harris is fine. Bobby McCain, who Miami signed as a nickel corner, paid him a bunch of money, and then moved him to safety for some unknown reason because they're the Dolphins right now. And Ken Webster are all going to be fine. Rashad Jones, Albert Wilson, I don't know if they're going to be out there. They have not practiced today or on Wednesday. That's Wednesday and Thursday here for the Miami Dolphins. That is a little bit of a red flag. The Dolphins are already just devoid of talent to begin with. Losing a good receiver in Albert Wilson and a high-price safety in Rashad Jones, who some of you asked about trading for, not with that contract, by the way, does not bode well for the Miami Dolphins, who are going to get beat. All right, guys, reminder to text Mick your score predictions and book your appointment at Kashiyama. It's 214-448-9037. Go text her your score predictions. As you guys know, she already got a lot of them there. Again, anyone who gets that score right will give you $100 towards a suit from Kashiyama. Some news here that just came across the wire while we were live, or while we are live, I should say, context and present tense and all that. Josh Rosen is the new starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. That was just reported here. The Dolphins have made him the starter, and it's not a huge surprise. This was only a matter of time for Miami because there's no reason to not play Josh Rosen. Like, Fitzpatrick is certainly not your franchise quarterback. Rosen might not be, but you might as well see what he's got. I will make note, though, this doesn't really impact the outcome of the game for me. Maybe Rosen throws one less interception than Fitzpatrick, who's been anything but magic so far for the Dolphins. But the offensive line is so bad, as we'll get to, he's not a mobile quarterback. He's kind of set up to fail there in the end. Which brings us to the other player I am watching, of course, Rosen for the Dolphins. It's a blowout. Let's focus on the Cowboys this time around. Robert Quinn, his suspension is now over. And oh, by the way, he's not hyping it up because that's not what he wants to do. But Quinn gets to play against his old team, the one that traded him away to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys pass rush needs a boost. It has not been good enough. Frankly, DeMarcus Lawrence is the only one getting consistent pressure and penetration in the pocket. No one else has done that on passing downs. The good news is, this is the week to get your confidence up. Does anyone even know any of these players here? Like, I'll give the first person a shout out who can name me multiple players on the Dolphins offensive line on air right now. Because these guys are a bunch of unknown nobodies. People don't know who these guys are. Now, maybe one or two of them, but these are not notable names, and we're cheating because we didn't even give you the first names on there either. These are not players that you go, tell you what. Madden says he knows Daniel Kilgore. That's one of them. Someone said Jason Davis. Good guess, but that's wrong. So is a good effort there on that one. I appreciate the effort there. No one else has even mentioned a second name yet on this Dolphins offensive line. That's how bad it is. I see Jonathan Webb. That's not right. I'm not going to give you the right name there. I see Davis and Webb are notable, but you didn't mention the first names. Okay, there it is. Felipe Garcia's got Jamarcus Webb. In order, left tackle to right tackle. You've got Jesse Davis, Michael Dieter, a third-round pick out of Wisconsin, Daniel Kilgore, Danny Isadora, and Jamarcus Webb. Oh, by the way, we'll get the lower third here for you guys, but we got some news for you. We got some news for you as it relates to the Miami Dolphins and the Dallas Cowboys. Remember how the Cowboys waived Taco Charlton? He's been claimed. The Miami Dolphins have claimed Taco Charlton, which maybe this doesn't surprise. If you went back and we were talking about how the Dolphins had interest in Taco Charlton, who we'll get to here in a second as it happens to turn out, the Dolphins claimed him. Now, sure, they'll get some insight into the Cowboys. It doesn't really going to impact the outcome there. But this is kind of what I thought, right? The Dolphins had a pretty early waiver wire claim. I think they were one of the few teams interested in Taco Charlton outright, and they knew they could wait and claim him on waivers. So some breaking news here for you guys on the show. Taco Charlton has been claimed by the Miami Dolphins. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.